Good morning, everybody. We'll get started here in a moment. Just give it a moment. I'll let everybody kind of funnel in before I begin. I want to go through these four names. I looked at a lot of charts last night. And we'll address it. But I just want to give it a moment, let people funnel in so that they can figure it out. Just give me 1 second here. Put that there, and we're going to flip this over. And let me just throw this line in here. Click paste. All right, so I'm good. All right, let's see who's funneling in. Hey, I'm glad to hear that. Like, I think we just have to go through some things. So I'm going to jump into it, and then people can kind of go, because I obviously started a little bit trying to start these at 8:15, but getting through everything is getting somewhat hard, especially on days like today. There's a lot of moving parts going on right now, a lot. And we're going to address it right now. So let's just start here. Okay, this was something I actually bought and tried to trade, and it just simply did not work. And it broke out the low here, and that was the end of it. And then just came down, took out the low. This has made a decision on where it's going. So to me, any of these rallies on this should be sold. This was the note from the newsletter last night. I mean, this is not a great thing. We were stopped out with the loss. I was pretty clear, do not re-enter. Look at TDOC and DOCU, and we're going to get into it. But you see where you're at here? Let me just show you this on a weekly so you can see what's going on here. Essentially, what's happening is the hospitalizations are dropping. And as they continue to drop, you're going to see more and more people. See this rallies right here? And then you're going to break down. You're going to 271 at a minimum, right? You're at least going down another 10 points. Whether or not you hold here, I don't know. The weeklies are broken. So this whole bear move is broken now. It just did not bounce. I was looking for it to bounce and hold off of this right here, and it just simply did not do it. So this is what we're dealing with now. But it's spreading to all the names. Like, so this is just starting to break down. So in other words, you have this whole move down, but this is just beginning. So I know it's a huge arc position, and I'm going to show you these on the weekly because it's cleaner. But when you break this 129 3/4, which I don't see how you're not breaking this, you're probably going to 113. So I would expect these to just be, just outright avoids or shorts on any rally. Here's your upper trend line on DocuSign. I have the 8-day EMA in. Hold on, let me get rid of that. So you can see how you're rolling here and how this is setting up, okay? You need to avoid this. This move here, you just need to stop. You just really need to just watch what's going on here. To me, I don't see any reason to be stepping into this here, at all. I think this can get a lot worse. Finally, this to me is just setting up a short. I don't expect this to hold. I really don't. I expect this to be, I think we're actually trading up a little bit this morning, which is a blessing. Any rally on this up to this level, to the 113 level, and I would look at putting a short on. There's no way that this is going to hold if everything else is breaking down. It's just not going to. There's a lot of reasons for that, but if we're holding here, then that's what we're going to see. Now, with that said, what this does do is if at home comes in like this because the hospitalization's dropping and what's going on right now, you're going to see a spur in the economy. And I do want to get into questions, but I just want to point this out. If we're going to see a spur in the economy, this is not over, right? So just watch this level in the 200-day today. I mean, you're seeing a lot of conflicting data, but the one thing I'd point out is if we're going to sell down on at-home names, then the economy is going to start growing. So this could be setting up for a bounce here. So just watch it. This whole we're going to melt down 10% stuff, yeah, it could happen, sure. Does it happen when we all think it's going to happen? No, that's not how the market works. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm not saying not to be protective, but I see a major shift here. And the shift that I see is out of at home, and we're going to start shifting into real companies, which we are in companies that are just continuing to go up every single day. I mean, look at the ASML trade. So just keep that in mind. The at-home names as a group, avoid or short on rallies, and start looking for stocks that keep rallying and hitting new highs. They are out there. But I don't think that the IWM, and I don't think these indexes are going to break down like we think they are. So that's it. So I'll go through questions now. Can you please comment on a firm entry? Also, UPST where to close position. I don't know where you're in your UPST position. You have to tell me. A firm entry. So for me, a firm, the entry is pretty clean, right? I'm at that 105 level. I mean, that's really anything around there. That's where my interest is. Get to the 8-day, right? That's where my interest is. Other than that, I mean, if you pick it up to the 8-day, all you do is bounce and you close right above it. I mean, it's like clockwork. So right now, there's nothing to do here, in my opinion. And now you're wedged in here, right? That 115 level to 109. So there's very little to do here. UPST, I don't know what your cost is. It's hard for me to tell you what to do. I had a trade where we were going to get through 280 and then go, and you're holding this 8-day. But it looks like it looks like today might be the last day to be holding that. If you were in this and you were looking for a stop, you have to use the low of the day, which is 268.25. If you look over here, let me just show you this very quickly, and then I'll get to everybody's questions. But I would recommend that everybody watch the first part of this video. So let me just point this out. This is why it's important to look at multiple time frames. You might want to remember that. See here, 280. See how we couldn't stay above it on the 15-minute chart? It's a clear sign that you had an issue, okay? And then you can see the reversal bar. And then this, and that was pretty much the end of it, all right? And you can see how fast people are selling, which usually means that, you know, we're getting near full panic. Good morning. So let's just keep going. As AMC. So AMC to me is providing an opportunity to buy it. So that's kind of how I feel about it right now. For a trade, I mean, you can't stay in this. But here, look at this. Okay. You see this right here? Okay. Now look at this. So some people use this. I'm just going to throw this in. So as some people use it in the EMA versus an SMA, I just want to point out that the differences are minuscule. I mean, use whatever you want to use. I just use a simple moving average, but I just want to point it out for a second. I threw it in and I have it there, but I mean, it's like splitting hairs. It's really very, very minuscule. Nobody should be making a decision off of this or this, right? I mean, it's just silly. So just keep that in mind. In regards to it, look at this move. Okay, since this breakout here, right? You got out here, but here's your breakout. Since this breakout, you have not closed below the 8-day. So the odds of you closing below the 8-day today are probably not too great. Now, if it does, it does, and then you get stopped out. But I think this is a very interesting spot, and we have to see where you open pre-market, but I think this is a very interesting spot to buy it right on this lower trend line, and also with the hopes that you're going to get above the 8-day by the end of the day. So I think there's actually a trade there. ATER. So, I mean, this is just, there's no reason to be in this. So you're seeing this right here, right? And you're seeing this from 20 to 10. Like, there's just no reason to be in this. I mean, this was the move. right? I mean, like here, if you go and you throw in, hold on. I mean, that was it. That was your move. And then it rejected. So there's really very little to do there. Very little to do there at all. I would just avoid that. Good morning, Justin. Are you talking about Crocs or Croc? I don't know. Is there a Croc? Hold on. Is that what you're talking about? The Australian short dollar? Or are you talking about this? Let me know which one you're talking about. Hey, Andy. Oh, thanks. Uber can go a lot lower. Uber can go a lot lower. So also Apple with the new 5 cents starting tomorrow. Yeah, I bought Apple yesterday. I mean, I thought that this was the easiest trade in the world. I mean, I just thought it was absolutely silly. But people are selling Apple, looking at like 5-minute and 1-minute charts when it's right against the 50-day going into its strongest quarter of all time, right? Like to me, this was just the easiest trade in the world. It just makes no sense. Like I'm not saying you don't break this. And if you do break this, you have to get out. But could it trade down? Sure it could. But you're going into phone sales. There are new phone cycles starting. And you're selling it down because that's what you're supposed to do after the announcement. So it's just, I mean, there's no other way to say this. There's no kind way to say that. That's just dumb retail, social media nonsense. Like, do you really think that institutions are not going to buy this going into the Christmas season? So it's just crazy. It's just crazy thought process that's just wrong. So it presented an opportunity yesterday, and I took it and I bought it. I think as long as you are closing above this 50-day, it tells you what you need to know. If it breaks below the 50-day, it's telling you what you need to know. But for my position in it right now, to me, I have a free trade. So I'm just going to let it ride and see what it does. If very well, this thing could just start grinding higher and get to new highs by the end of the year. There's very little reason to think that that's not going to happen. So ENTJ. There's your levels. 126.41, 124.41. You're through them. How's your volume? Yeah, look, you have your volume spike and everything here. You have everything you need. Looks great. I like that trade. To answer your Uber question, Uber can go a lot lower. All right. All this is doing is just selling straight down. That's all it's doing. I mean, it's just every rally is being met by selling. You know, what you have to do is you have to hope that it holds these wick lines. And if it doesn't, it's just toast. But this is really nasty. I wouldn't be surprised to see this continue. How low can it go? I mean, let's look at a weekly real quick on this, because this is not overly actionable today unless you're looking for a short. Here's your breakout bar. So there's your first stop. So really 33.40 would probably be the first level that I would look at if I was you. So DSX. Hey, Jared, good morning. I'm assuming you're in the Western Hemisphere. I could be wrong. So you're breaking out here and your volume's really picking up. I mean, today, look, that is, hold on, let me just pull this up on the daily. That looks great on the daily. Breaking out here was your buy. You had follow through yesterday. You're kind of ahead of yourself now. This is not something that I could buy now. It was a great buy the other day. This was a huge buy here. And now you just can see it just continue to keep going and going. So if you're in it, I would stay with it. I mean, that looks great. Worst case scenario, you might come down and form a handle and then go again. That's usually what happens. But overall, I think it looks excellent. I mean, it looks really sharp. It should continue. If Crocs breaks up our trend line, all right, Crocs. So with Crocs, I mean, you broke out yesterday on the buyback. It's just staggering to me what this stock is doing. It was a pretty clean breakout. I don't know. It looks to me like people were just looking for something to get everybody in and then to take down. I'd be really careful of buying breakouts right now until this market starts resuming and grinding higher again, which I expect it to start doing in like the next week. But I really don't see a parabolic move here. No, I mean, I don't think you're anywhere near that, right? Like that happening. Yeah. I think yesterday, I think if you could really drill down into it, you'd find a lot of algorithms that were out there playing this name. I mean, you ran right to it, right? So if you flip it, you have to watch it. Yes. If you flip that level, yes, you must watch it. To me, this is not something that I think is going to do what we think it's going to do, frankly. I think yesterday's bidding up was just getting people in, and then they're just taking the other side of the trade. That's my thought. I could be wrong. It was positive news. DD for an entry point. Starting to look like a buy. Let's take a look. That does not look like a buy. There's nothing about that remotely looks like a buy. You have the 200s about to cross the 50 to the downside, right? You have the 21 rolling, and you can't stay above the 8-day moving average. So see this right here? See right here? And now you're breaking. Okay. There's nothing. I mean, honestly, this was a short here. And it's been a short since. So I would not be anywhere near this. It's interesting. No one's brought up Las Vegas Sands yet and what to do there. Right? Is this done? Is it not done? That's kind of interesting. No one's even really brought it up. Look, it looks like we're bidding down this morning again. Is that accurate? I haven't really looked at these yet this morning. Let's see that. That's accurate. You should be looking at these. Okay. Yeah, you gapped down again this morning. So you should be looking at these. Okay, this is grossly overdone. Everyone's going to look at this and say it's super bad. They're going to give China a piece of the action, and they're going to get right back in business. And usually when they have these like sell downs like this, unless they're just going to tell them they have to pull out of Macau, which they very well could do. They can do anything they want. I don't foresee this getting much worse. So I would start looking at these for a bounce trade on the shorts or on the long side. They just both went too far too fast onto the downside. But you're in an exacerbated market right now, right? Everything's being exacerbated. So to me, I think you're okay here. I don't think this is going to get much worse, frankly. I think you're going to be in a position where you can get a bounce trade out of them. So I'd be looking at them. And, it's interesting. No one brought that up. You can't go back. Like you can't, Nicholas. Like it's just, it's funny. I was talking about this the other day in like the community, and I was saying everyone's talking about how bad the market is, and it is. But if you're in the right names, you're doing okay. I mean, some of the names that we've been trading in, they're hitting all-time highs, right? I think I've got 9-10 names in the newsletter right now. 3 are at all-time highs. Team, ASML, Asan, like CELH. Like there are names out there, AMEH. I mean, there are names that are flying. In regards to Asan, I think there's a trade there. I think, see this bar? Like when you have an open is the low and the high is the close, okay? And this kind of tape, you need to pay attention to that. Like that's not just we ran up and then pulled back like this, right? So let's just get through this. In yesterday's tape, which just was awful, like they just bid us up to like fill us and then knock us back down, right? It's just so frustrating. But what I'm getting at is at the end of the day, you see this? So this gets you in a position where you're closing at the high. You have no rejection. you have no price rejection. So getting over 107 here, this could run. This could go up again. So I would watch that. You see how you have these wicks? This is actually getting stronger. Like it's hard not to laugh about it, but it's happening. So, you can have FOMO, but there's a day trade there, a couple day trade, but leave it. HUT offering 855. I don't know. I don't know. Like this is not something that I would be a huge, like, I got to get in. I mean, it's down $2. Why is it down $2? I don't know the news. Is there news out or is it Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin why it's down? So when you guys send comments in, if you could throw out what you're looking at and what the issue is. So like, are you in HUT and you're trying to get in? Or are you concerned about what's going on with Ethereum and, these other names? You just throw things out there. Let me know what you're focused on. So, and why. Like for me, HUT, I mean, did they do a secondary? I don't have time to read all the news. I read the news, the most pertinent news to me, frankly, in the morning. I just don't have enough time. But in regards to this, I mean, why would you go near this? What would make you want to buy that? Right? Would be how I look at it. Just because we think it's going to go back up because it went up before. I mean, this looks like it did a secondary. It must have done a secondary last night, right? Because this is what happens. Everybody just sells and shorts it. So if it did a secondary, I wouldn't go near it until the secondary prices, if that's what it is. It has to, I would think that's a secondary, Francis. Yeah. Yep. There it is. Yeah. I would not go near that secondary. I would not go near that. That was a short, outright short. Oh, thanks, Ethan. I appreciate it. Over 107, buddy. Doug, I like where your head's at. I mean, I like where your head's at. I mean, I'm telling you that people need to watch these. And I'm not talking about short term. I'm saying that this is what happens with these names. This is when you buy them. You don't buy these on breakouts. These are names that trade on value. Okay. And just as we've broken down before, we're breaking down again. Right now, if I get rid of this, okay, and I see this, I'm near the bottom. Now, whether or not I bounce up to the 45-day or stop or I keep going, we don't know. But this is definitely something that on this weakness, that if you ever wanted to be in these, you're being given an opportunity. You're being given an opportunity to buy this back at pre-pandemic levels. Do you think Las Vegas Sands is in as much trouble at pre-pandemic levels as it is now? Right? And let me just point this out. When you see volume like this level of volume, that is just everybody, and you can see it back here too, right? And how'd that go? A couple days later, that was the end of it, right? And then you hit new highs. What I'm getting at here is that when you have that much selling, okay, there's nobody left to sell. There's just no one left. So keep that in mind. This 37, 35, to me, if I was a super long time IRA account, if I was looking for something like to bury and forget about, to me, these names, what just happened to them is, and specifically, I look at Las Vegas Sands better because it came in more. I mean, it got cut in half, and they went through a lot with Sheldon Adelson dying and now what's going on in Macau. But if you take a look at what's going on with like Wynn or these names, you should be looking at these longer term. Boca RRR, essentially it did exactly what I thought it would do, right? It took us out. Went to the 50-day. I can't hold this break to the 50-day. Like, you just shouldn't do this, right? We almost should have moved the stop just right under here, but I wanted to give it some room. And what you're seeing happen is you're seeing this go, right? And you're seeing it reverse. Now look at this. And it did it yesterday. So are we seeing money fly into RRR because of what's going on with Las Vegas Sands, right? Because they don't have exposure? I mean, that's really the question, right? Like, did Caesars go up? Not really, right? So I'm not really sure why we're seeing this bounce in weakness, except that we must have a buyer at the 50-day, which is great. Where would I get back in? You're pretty much there, right? You see this flip right here? You're pretty much there. You could wait till you get above the 8-day, which I think you're going to try and do this morning. And I'd be really careful buying anything that's bidding up. You should be selling into things that are bidding up this morning if you're looking short term. So like the Apple trade, I'm just going to hold. If I get stopped, I get stopped. But I don't see any reason to keep trying to get in and out of that. To me, I just think that was a layup. Anyway, what you're going to see here is you're just going to see us continue to push higher. I think this does go higher, but that's the bar you buy. And then if you take out this low, which is 42.50, you just have to be willing to get out again. But if I'm bidding up at this 46 where it's showing right now, Boca, you can't buy this. You can't buy this 46 with a 42 stop. You need it to come in and then reevaluate it. I hope that's helpful. If I miss your symbol, just please throw it back in. I'm just going to roll with the levels today. RBLX is going to get uglier. I mean, like RBLX is going to have issues. There's no question about it. I mean, you can see this coming, right? Every other at-home kind of stock, which this is an at-home stock with the kids, okay, is going to have issues. Now the kids are back in school. Okay, it's not the adults that are playing Roblox, is that how you pronounce it? So if they're in school, they can't be asking mommy and daddy for the credit card, right? So if that's the case, earnings are going to suffer. It's just a question of how much. So just keep that in mind. I think that this is going to roll. This to me is a double top. We haven't broken that double top, but you have broken this. I just think you have so many people that love the name. You can see how you open below it, ran, evening star pattern, and go from there. For those that have not watched, and I'll link it in the video description today, you need to watch that candlestick video. It's one of the first videos I ever did, but you need to watch that so you can learn these patterns. I'm probably going to do an advanced one soon. I've been working on it. So let's keep going. RSKD. And just remember, if I haven't gotten your symbol, just throw it back in there because I'm just going to let them roll so I can see everything. RSKD, I wouldn't go near this. I don't know why it's down like this. But breaking down to this level, I mean, at least you held this level right here, right? And you're going from there. Now you should bounce. So that's something that we can take a look at later. I wouldn't go near it. Now, Microsoft, Brett, I think that Microsoft's holding, and I think that it'll continue to hold. I think that to me, it looks like it wants to go. To me, it looks like it's had enough of selling down and it wants to go. And it looks to me like it presented a great opportunity under the 21-day, and it's telling you which way this market's going to go. So I like it. I do. I'm a proponent of, I've been saying for the past couple of days that the action I'm seeing is telling me that we're bottoming. So I like Microsoft here. Now, if it rolls and takes out that low, you're probably going to the 50-day. And at that point, I'd get out of the way. Hi, Shane. Yeah, I had a position in ZI yesterday and I closed it. I'll just walk you through why. So yes, this was an all-time high close. And yes, here, like look at it here. And I know the weekly's not closed, but it's just cleaner to look at, right? But yes, I actually like the name. I was very close to putting it in the newsletter yesterday. I'll just walk you through that. We were unable to get above that and close above that. And that is a red flag. Okay. I have a rising. Oops. Let me go back to that. Hold on one second. Click the wrong screen. I got too many screens. So see how you run up here? Look. So you have a bear flag and you broke out of that bear flag right here. Right? So this was a bear flag going across. Here's your flagpole. Here's your flag. And then womp, and then you get right over that. And you close over it. So to me, the bear flag's negated, right? Here's my rising trend. I need to close over this. And I'll show you it here because it was why I didn't put it in the newsletter. And this is typical of what you're seeing happen in this market. They're running us up just like they did on Crocs. And then they're just stepping away. and then that's it. And then I just held the position with this being my stop for the day. And then I traded back up to here, and then I saw the reversal pattern on this bar, and I got out break even on the trade. But to me, I like it, but this is not something that you buy here. You have to watch. Look at this on the hourly, right? I mean, I tried. I can't do it. Now I'm falling down. So it's not something that I would go near until it clears that. And then I could look at it. Agilent, sure. So, oops, let's just go through here. I'll go here. So when you have these long red nasty bars down, I mean, I can throw the indicators in, but it really doesn't matter, right? You're between the 8 and the 21. It doesn't matter. It's day one, right? So day one, you're either going to hold or you're not going to hold. And really what your focus needs to be when you have downward moves like this is not so much even your moving averages. You can use them, but you need to watch this. Because if I break that level, 170.22, then it means that the selling is not over. Whoever this is, they are not done if you see that, okay? And that's how you have to look at it. What's this other data button? Oh, that's interesting. So just consider that. But that's how I look at it, okay? You need to hold that level. If you break that level, which is also the 21-day, as we know, right? But it's really about that bar more than the 21-day to me, although we closed right at the 21-day. And you could see how we respected this 8-day, and then as soon as you broke the 8-day, that was it. That was the end of it. So you've been respecting that since the break, and usually when that happens, it can be nasty, and that's what you're saying. So it's not something I'd run into. Oracle. So this is how Oracle trades. It comes out with earnings, it disappoints, everybody sells it, and then it's like a day or two later and it starts going back up. It hasn't started to do that yet. So really all you're looking for me for now, and this changes daily with Oracle, but really get over 87 and then just put the trade on. I mean, that's really what you're looking for there. Anything over $87 and you should be all over it. So RKLB, I thought I did that one. Did I not do that? RKLB. No. So you just need to avoid this. I mean, you really need to hold that level here. You're trying very hard to hold. It's right. I mean, it's also this opening bar right here, right? So you really need to hold that level. 1510. If you break that, you're going into the low teens to the 12s. If you break this, Ford, I like. So I like Ford. I was talking about this yesterday. Let's get rid of this for a minute. And this is why I would recommend that you use candlesticks over any other pattern, just because your eye goes to it, right? See all the red. See how it's changing. And now it's green, you're getting more green. See how the bars are getting smaller and smaller versus how long and elongated these bars were? That tells you that you're getting tighter, you're going through consolidation. What else that tells you is that the selling is slowing. Okay, and then you can overlay your indicators, and you can see that you're coming up on the 200-day moving average. I personally don't think you're going to break the 200-day moving average. And every single time I'm asked about this, I just point this out. I'll get rid of these indicators and show you that you have broken an over 20-year downward trend line. So to me, I'd be looking at this. This is not something that I would be, you have to bury it for long term, but I like it. I do like it. LCID and Microsoft. So Microsoft we covered. Lucid to me is just wait for it to rally and short it. But you have to realize that you're in a very crowded short. Morgan Stanley doesn't come out and put a sell order on many names. And the fact that they came out and put a sell order on this with a target price of 12, which is lower than where they bought the company, the private equity people bought the company, tells you everything that you need to know. Okay. It tells you everything you need to know about the company. I'd be hard pressed to say that anybody knows more than an analyst whose job it is, especially a good analyst, which the guy actually is, knows anything more about a company than we do. Right. I mean, you have the rah-rah people and they put on the PR video, like, look at the car. Okay. I mean, we saw this. I'm not saying it's as bad as Nikola, but we've seen this game. We've seen how it plays out. Right. It ends with, it ends in tears. So I would just be on the complete opposite side of this. The problem that you're running into in shorting it is everybody shorting it because they all know what's going to happen to it. So it's a crowded short. So anytime it breaks down, like even here, right, where you would think that that's the end of it because all the insiders are getting out, right? Everybody's getting out. And what happens is you just rallied right to the breakout point and now you're rolling again. Now the question is, do you get back down to here? I don't know. But to me, it's a short on rallies. That's how I would play it. So, let's just take a look at these. Bitcoin, sure. Let's do it. So, same trade, right? Here's your bear flag, and here you are. So, and now maybe you're going to grind higher, maybe you're not. I don't know, but that's breaking above that flag. So this could move. I've been talking about these. I mean, the one that I like more than this is, I think that if you had to buy one, or if you wanted to buy one, you should be looking at this because this has the highest bounce back. And even I've been talking about this for the past couple of days. This to me here. Let's get rid of all these lines for a second because this is so much cleaner to look at. Okay, when you have something like this, like here, right? And what this does, and why I like looking at ETHE sometimes more than Ethereum, is because Ethereum doesn't stop, right? So you just get bar after bar. But this actually shows you during the trading day how people are positioning themselves, okay? So what you're seeing here is when you have like a long-legged doji like this, that shows you indecision. So I've been selling down, and now I have an indecision bar. Now, it looks like I'm trying to get a higher than that. So this may have bottomed. And I just like the Ethereum. If I was going to trade one of these, and I do trade these, usually I try to invest in them, but they're too volatile right now. But that's going to, that's going to be the one to me that I would look at that could really run, that has the most potential out of those two names. So Auto Grill, I'm not going to get that symbol, MA. AGLIMI. It's not going to be on this. What do you think the vaccines will do now? They keep going higher or consolidate? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I thought BNTX was going to break out and go. I was wrong. I put a trade on it. We got stopped out of that trade. It just didn't work. Now you're sitting at these support levels and holding. So, I don't know. I think there's a lot going on out there that's going to really affect these stocks. I mean, it's not good that, and I'm not saying this for political reasons, but it's not good that nurses are stating walkouts over the mandate. And that's what's happening, and they're not talking about it as much as they should be. And that creates even more issue because it creates even more divisiveness and it creates more uncertainty instead of them actually, journalism's actually being journalists. And it's creating a lot of uncertainty here. And, there are people that probably could benefit from getting the vaccine. I mean, some people don't want it, don't get it. But the uncertainty concerns me and how this ends concerns me. So to me, they're trades when they pull back. But I think you really have to watch it. And I would only be playing with MRNA and BNTX. I do think it's very interesting that this is the one Japan went with, because they have a very conservative FDA. It's very different than the FDA over here. I would say that their FDA is less, let's use the word less tainted by political. And I'm very surprised that this is the one they used, but this is the one they went with. But I think you need to trade them. And I think you need to buy them on pullbacks at this point. It's almost like you have to buy them on the bad news now. You're never going to get this move again. Like, you're never going to get this move. It's never going to happen again, right? This is actually a blow off. And now I keep trying to see if it's going to go higher. But this move in BNTX and MRNA is no different than this, right? It's the same technical pattern, right? Where you have these huge run up and then you try and then you just start bouncing around again. It's no different. So you just have to watch that pattern. Let's see, SE. So yeah, I mean, I like it. You know, I mean, the thing we talked about the other day was that get through the secondary and you have 318. So, I mean, that's exactly what you needed to do. I like it. I think it's going back to the highs. Hey, Terry. This morning, price target push above 50-day volume, shelf large, 15 level thoughts. I'm not a fan of this at all. I mean, I would actually be using any rally to short this. I think they have a major issue. They have, you know, I know I don't know what percentage of their business is crypto, but what Interactive Brokers just did with trading crypto on individual accounts and charging 1/10 of what Sophie charges, I think these companies have major issues. I think it's being grossly underestimated, the power of that, where you're at a position like, I think Hood's done. I think these companies are going to have real problems now. When mainstream starts trading, like, how long do you think it's going to be before if these guys are doing it, how long before you think Schwab starts doing it? How long before E-Trade and Toss start doing it? When they figure out how they can settle and make money off of it. You have to understand Wall Street. When they realize that they can make money off of something, they're going to do it. So the longer term prospects of these they're done. Like these to me, they're just going to go under. Someone will acquire them later for whatever shares, but I'd be really careful here, Terry. I'd be really careful, and I'd be using any rallies to sell. So, yeah, I would rethink that, Boca, long term. Oh, you're welcome, buddy. I didn't do AMD yet. I mean, I know people are looking at it. They're trying to figure out where to get in. I just don't see it yet. All I see is a sea of red. And what you should be focused on with AMD, right, is look, I mean, the SOX is at highs, right? The Philadelphia Semiconductors Index is at highs. And what's going on here? Not exactly a ringing endorsement, right? Not exactly what you want to see. And I think that you need to take that into account. 275, 280. Now that I see people, the interesting thing is now the people that were big fans of it, it's so fascinating because you can actually trade against sentiment on social media. It's very interesting. Well, it's interesting to me. Maybe I'm a geek, but the people that love the name, that were all over the name, are now saying, oh, I'm going to wait to 270, 280. It can get to 270, 280 fairly quickly. It's just that when you see that much sentiment change that fast, right? We're usually not all right. Retail's usually not right. If you trade against retail, you usually do fairly well, right? So it's very interesting what you're seeing. So you might be setting up for some kind of bounce here eventually. Let me just see something. Let's look at the RSI for a minute and get rid of this. So yeah, I mean, you're getting pretty washed out here. Now, could this go lower? Yeah, absolutely. It could, but here I am on RSI and I'm here. Here I am on RSI and I'm here. Someone could make an argument that this is pretty much getting close to the end of it, but we'll see. Technically speaking, without looking at RSI and what may happen there or may not happen there, this is my level, 272. So RRR, I did some RR. I like it as long as it holds the 50-day. Let's just keep going. Yeah, I like it. Hey, Brian. Amazon, I think you have to watch Amazon and then do AMEH. And again, if I miss your symbol or you don't hear it in the next 5 minutes, just throw it back in. Amazon broke. I mean, look, I think Amazon's the next one that could actually come in. You're actually watching the Qs go up, right? And you're seeing Amazon come down. So to me, this is a real issue here. Okay, see how you're breaking right here? To me, if you're looking for a short position, this is it. There's one here. There's a trade here on the short side. Like you rallied to this level and you broke, and now you can't get above the 50-day. So to me, yeah, this could go lower. You know, the RSI is rolling. This is not something you want to be buying right now. Not my opinion. I don't see any reason why this can't come back down and refill this gap, retest this line. So I would not be a buyer. Cost and AMEH. Let's do AMEH and get it out of the way before I forget. So AMEH to me, all I'm looking for is for you to hold this lower low. Okay. I really don't want to just make the 10 points. I really think that this could break out, but I have to protect my capital at this point in this kind of environment. I just get tighter with my stops, you know, and just prove me wrong, stop me out, and then I'll go find another one. But overall, I really think you can get through this level. I really think you can get through 99. So, SE, I already covered. I like it a lot. It held the 318 level. Tesla looks great. Let's do Tesla. So Tesla looks great. I just drew this line so people can understand what you're dealing with. So I think this is a matter of time. Look at this. Got a morning star right here, a huge one that just shook. I took everybody out, right? That's how this trade's going. We shook the tree. We got everybody out. Then we got everybody back in, and we're still in the same position. Nothing's changed, right? So you might just want to wait for quad witching to be over because this will be a big trade on quad witching. Let's just go. Good morning, boss. Skin. Let's do skin. So here's your trend line, and you're holding. Every single time you try to break, what happens? What are we doing pre-market? We're holding. So every time we try to break, we close above this trend line, and we're holding the 21-day. It's just basing for now. Just watch it. You have to if you get through the 8-day, you're probably going to this top of this line. $30 right now. If you get through that 8-day. Right now, that's your resistance point, right? Every time you touch it, there's a sell. I would stay long. I think I would stay long and try to ride that trade out if you're looking longer term. You need a pullback at this point. I mean, you can't buy that here. That'd be like the biggest FOMO trade in the world. So you're up. It's up 90 points when we first started looking at it, I think, or 85 points. You can't do that now. So, I mean, you can, but you're just going to get stopped eventually. Microsoft, I like a lot, Stephen. Airbnb, I didn't do. So I don't see this getting through this 170. I wouldn't go near this till it gets through this 170 line. We've never even really attempted it. I think you're going to rally up and then you're just going to roll again here. I think that some of these stocks that have these kind of valuations are pretty much done. Let's do AMBA. Yeah, I think it looks great, but you broke out, and that was your trade. This was your trade, and then you broke out. So now you just sit with it, right? If you bought the breakout, if you didn't buy the breakout, it's kind of hard to buy it up here because you can easily come back down to here. So, but the chart looks great. That stock looks excellent. So, CELH. Yeah, you keep rejecting this level. You just have to watch. You just keep rejecting it. Hopefully today we get through it. We're about to find out in about 12 minutes. But we just keep rejecting this upper trend line. UPST, I did look at. You really have to watch that 280 level, Liliana. Hold on. You really just got to watch this 280. You have to get through it. And you've been holding the 8-day. If you close below the 8-day, this is going to get ugly. If that closes below the 8-day, you're going to see a wave of selling come in. REMX. REMX. So, Van Eck rare earth. Look, you're just basing. It's extremely thin. Just be careful. This is something you have to kind of like buy and bury and forget that you own. Because it's just, you just don't know where you're going to open the next day. 114, you just want exposure to it, but you just don't know where you're going to, open and where you're going to wind up. So you have to watch that. Yeah, I would avoid that stock. I think that move's done, Andy, in my opinion. I wouldn't go near Sava. I think that it's pretty clear that they have an issue. I think that's very, very clear they have an issue. I think this is one of the biggest shorts of the year that none of these short experts even talked about. It's clear that from that letter that there was a real problem here with their data, like a real issue. And even when they came out to talk about it, they were unable to make it look good. All right, I got to go here, everyone. ZS I'll do real quick, and then I got to go. So, yeah, I mean, you're holding that 21-day. As long as you hold that and you're willing to use 260 as a stop, there's a trade there. But that's pretty much it. All right. I have to jump, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks, Jern.